Namaste. Welcome to the Incredible Girl. Ta-da-da. Oh, this seems so different. But hello, it's time to be all very calm and peaceful because I did the 10 days Vipassana course. What is Vipassana? How was the course? Was it crazy? Let's hear it out. So, Vipassana is basically a meditation technique. So, there are courses all across the globe and in India where you have a 10-day course or a 3-day course or a 1-day course. And I was particular in doing the 10-day course because all I knew was during these 10 days, you're not allowed to use your phones, you're away from this entire world, you are with yourself. And I was like, wow. This seems pretty adventurous. We must try it out. Now, was the course exactly like that? Here is what the 10-day Vipassana course is like. So, for the basic 10 days course, you'll have to stay in that ashram or wherever the place is for 10 days. Okay, and when you're staying there for 10 days, there are 5 things that we have to follow. One is abstaining from killing living creatures. So, that basically means no non veg. Second thing is no intoxicants. That means your beer, alcohol, and smoking or any kind of other drugs are not allowed. Third is you should not be lying. So essentially, they ask you to be silent, so you're not going to talk for the entire period of 10 days. Fourth thing is there is no sexual misconduct. And the fifth thing is no stealing. So during our entire stay there, we had to follow all these things. So that also means we had to deposit all our phones when we were entering into the ashram. And you have no book, no pen, no paper. So you cannot do any kind of activity once you go inside the ashram. So it's going to be you and only you with yourself for these 10 days. And also, when I'm saying you cannot talk, it is also expected that you don't do any kind of actions too. Otherwise, we generally say, So that is also not allowed for this entire period of 10 days. So it's going to be you alone with your thoughts. So that's how the basic rules are when you have to stay there. So where do we stay? So we are given rooms, and the rooms can be a single person room or a shared room with a roomie, and they are maintained so absolutely well. You have a broom and other stuff outside so that you can do your daily activities all throughout by yourself without talking to others. And even though if you have a roommate, no, you cannot talk to them. And the girls and guys have separate areas of stay. So, what is the schedule like? The schedule now, this is the craziest thing. Our day starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, there is a bell, tung tung, and we got to get up at 4, and by 4:30 our meditation starts. So from 4:30 to 6:30 we have the meditation. At 6:30 we have breakfast. Yes, at 6:30 in the morning. So from 6:30 to 8 is the time where you take rest, freshen up and do whatever you want to and have your breakfast. Then 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock we have meditation. Then again 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock we have meditation. And at 11 o'clock it's time for lunch. 11 o'clock lunch, hell yes. Then 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock is again the rest period. So you finish your lunch, then you want to take rest, go for a walk, do anything that you want to. Then again from 1 o'clock to 2:30 we have meditation. Then 2:30 to 3:30 we have meditation. Then 3:30 to 5 we have meditation. And at 5 o'clock it's time for snacks, which is also the dinner, by the way. Yes, right. After 5 o'clock, you're not going to get any other food. So, after the 5 o'clock dinner, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it's like the break time again. So, you have your snacks, which is also the dinner, and rest. So, and then 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, you have meditation. Then, after this meditation is done, this is the best part of the day because we get to listen to a discourse by Goenkaji. So, as in Goenkaji, it is he who teaches us this Vipassana procedure in the form of videos. Now, this is the only part of the day which is kind of entertaining. So it starts at around 7:15 or something and it goes down till 8:30. So after 8:30 again 8:30 to 9 or 9:15 we have meditation, and then it's a wrap. You can go and sleep. And then what? The next day is the same process on repeat. The third day, repeat. Fourth day, repeat. Seventh day, repeat. Ninth day, repeat. 10th day, repeat. Yes, for this entire 10 days, this is the schedule from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the night. But between one meditation to another meditation, they say take a 5 minutes break and come back. And I'm like, God damn, 5 minutes break. What is the food that they give? So your breakfast at 6:30 in the morning has different kinds of upmas. So every day they made a new variety of upma. And then we also had dosa and idli on some days and pesarattu on one day. So that's with the breakfast. Along with it, we have fruits and ragi java, which I personally fell in love with, and tea. So you can have whatever you want to. For the lunch, you have roti, white rice, brown rice, along with two curries and a dal and a sambar and buttermilk, along with cucumbers and carrots, which I used to hog a lot. And for the snacks in the evening, again, you used to have this ragi java, which I'm telling you is deadlyly delicious, along with either popcorn or murmuras. So one day popcorn, one day murmuras. I used to get so excited for the popcorn because I'm like, I want popcorn. And then I used to take in the ragi java, and that's it. So it's like a very light snacks in the evening, and we are done. That's it with the food. You cannot be super smart, take all the fruits, get them into your room, and have them later on in the night. That is not allowed, because remember the five precepts. One of them is no lying, so can't do that. Or no stealing, can't do that. And yeah, also in the evening snacks, we are given fruits too. So that's how the food is. It's entirely sattvic aharam. Initially, the first day you feel, oh my god, what is this? I'll die with hunger. But eventually you'll realize you can do it, man. And what's the cost for this whole thing? The best part is this is a free course. The entire 10 days, you gotta pay nothing. But I tell you, the facilities, the food, the course, the knowledge which we get is immense. But all of this is being given and distributed for free. And this is why I salute these guys. So at the end of the 10th day, we can give in donations. So only through these donations, these entire courses are run. So you can give whatever you want. You want to give a hefty amount? Good. You want to give a minimum amount? Good. You just are giving a Guru Dakshina for the knowledge that you have learned. What is this Vipassana meditation technique like? So in the initial first 3 to 4 days, they just ask you to observe your respiration. So that's all you have to do for the entire day. Now apart from that, on the 4th day, they teach you the technique. The technique basically involves observing the sensations on your body. So these sensations could be of any type. It could be smooth, it could be pain, it could be sweat, it could be of different forms, but we are asked not to react to these sensations. Basic ideology behind this is we have to just observe the sensations. We have to just be aware of the sensations. So this is how the entire next 5 to 6 days goes, where we are trying to get used to this technique. Goenka ji calls it the deep operation of your mind. So you're going into the deep roots of your mind, changing the mind's behavior. The behavioral pattern of the mind is what you're looking at and changing. Now saying all this seems damn easy. Doing is so damn tough. To be very honest, the first 2 days you're like, okay, giving it a try, pretty cool. On the 3rd day, I really felt like, why the hell am I here? Why did I think this was an adventure? This adventure is more crazy than what I thought. Thankfully, at the end of each day, these Dhamma talks which were there, they were my only rescue. They are the only reason I could survive till the end of 10 days. So according to this concept, it says life is filled with misery, and the misery is caused by us humans. We humans and we ourselves are responsible for our misery. And I was like, okay. So according to them, misery is basically caused by 2 things. One is cravings and aversions. Cravings as in you crave for something to happen and it doesn't happen and you're like, oh, I'm miserable. You feel bad, right? Or aversion, you don't want something to happen and that freaking happens and you're like, ah, and you feel miserable again. So it's cravings and aversions that cause this misery. So during this Vipassana technique, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get hold of these cravings and aversions, trying to bring them down and be equanimous all throughout, so that you don't have any cravings or aversions. You're not like, I want this or I don't want it. Whatever is the situation, you are like trying to observe and be equanimous, because you know nothing is permanent. Now, who should do this? Should one do this? Should one not do it? What? So it's like, see, depends. Now, if you're thinking it's 10 days of retreat and you're gonna enjoy, you're gonna be in that bliss. Nah, that's not how it is. That's what I thought. I was like, me time, alone time, away from the world. Wow. No, after going there, it's not me time. It's me time working on me, putting myself in an uncomfortable situation and learning the technique. It's not gonna be a smooth ride, but it's definitely a worth it wala ride. And on that note, keep smiling, stay awesome, be you, Khudafiz. Goodbye. Oh, and also, look at the shirt. There is only one language, the language of the heart.